All right, guys, when you're down here at the Monsters on the Ohio, there's a few places that you can look for some bait. This is Aaron's #1 spot he's talking about. I've never caught bait here before, but he says it's an awesome place for you out-of-town guys that are looking for some bait. What do you call this, Aaron?
This is OMU, and it's going to be probably about what do you think? Probably 5 miles up from the boat ramp here in Owensboro.
Yeah. On the Kentucky side.
On the Kentucky bank, definitely. This is one spot where you can find skipjack. Normally, come October. There's already skipjacks here now, but they're smaller ones, and I have been catching fish on the smaller ones. So, it's one of the options for getting bait when coming fish Monsters on the Ohio.
Right. Now you've got another couple places to get bait. Of course, it's Cannleton Dam, about 35 miles upriver, and about 20 miles downriver is the Newburgh.
Yeah, that'd be Newburgh. Yeah, and some guys will even go down to Kentucky or Barkley. Normally getting bait within a couple hours of Owensboro when you get down here is a doable thing.
Right. Well, all right, guys. There's one option you can look for when you're in Owensboro to get bait.
Yeah, you ever come down here and that water ain't coming out there, and it's coming out there, buddy. You can believe, get on that seam line, it's over.
All right, guys, we're on the Ohio River today in Owensboro, Kentucky, and we're getting close to one of my favorite times of year. Of course, fall is always a good time of year, but it's Monsters on the Ohio time of year. October 11th this year.
Yep, October 11th.
We're, like I say, in Owensboro with the founder of Monsters on the Ohio and tournament director, Aaron Wheatley. Aaron, how is this your 5th year or 4th year?
It's be the 5th year for Monsters on the Ohio.
That's awesome, man. I remember when you first started, and it was like you only had like 40 boats, and now last year you drew?
Shoot, we had 24 boats the first year.
Was it? Well, last year I think you had one of your banner years, 120 something?
I had 124 boats last year. It was definitely a good year for Monsters on the Ohio.
Well, Aaron, how many boats you got signed up for this year?
Well, I think as of today, we got about 120 boats signed up. I think we've already got 77 of them that have paid, and normally the guys that sign up show up, and normally we have, 10 to 20 more boats show up that haven't signed up or anything. So there's, I don't want to put a number on this thing, but it's looking pretty good. Yeah.
Well, I know last year you had a lot of new anglers from all over the country. I think you just mentioned a while ago you had a new guy from South Carolina coming. That's a new state for you.
Yeah. South Carolina. This will be the first boat from South Carolina. Mr. Springs and his son, and I think Jeff Smith is the guy they fish with. And we're very excited to draw guys in from 600-700 miles away. I mean, that's what it's all about. Is to bring the best of the best to one place at one time, and let's get it on. And
let's do it.
And that's basically what Monsters on the Ohio is: the best of the best in one place at one time. Almost say Rod go down there. That's what Monsters is all about. The crowd, the stage, the events, the activities for the kids, it all makes Monsters on the Ohio just something more than just a catfishing tournament. And that's why I started it in the first place. This is basically a celebration of catfishing, man. Let's all come together. Let's have a great time. Bring your kids, bring your wife. Let's listen to some music while the guys are out fishing. Let's have the kids participate in an archery contest, in a casting contest. Steve always is nice enough to donate prizes that we give away to the kids there. We'll bring in the inflatables. We'll bring in food vendors, car vendors, four-wheeler vendors. It's definitely a big, just absolute celebration of catfishing.
Oh yeah, and like I say, it's my favorite tournament every year. Now let's talk about your limits this year. I know Kentucky's had a wide open limit, bring what you want. Of course it's a 5-fish limit. Right. But this year you're doing a little something different. Tell folks
what has actually happened is Fish and Wildlife has passed through some regs through the legislation, and they're not going to be enforced on the rod and reel fishermen until the magazine comes out. But me being in the position I am, and you're in the position you're in, we were in that battle, and we were in that fight, and we were begging for this. So if they're going to say, okay, actually it's in effect, but we're not going to enforce it. We're going to go with the, okay, it's actually in effect. We're going to show you that this is what we want. We're not going to wait.
Right.
And it's, some of you guys fish down in Tennessee and fish down in Alabama, and you're used to a slot limit, and you're basically going to have the same thing here. It's going to be a 1/35. Now that's in the main stem Ohio River only, which where Monsters is, except for the Green River, but you're not going to be allowed to go in the Green River and catch 5/35. You're still going to be on the 1 per species. That's the difference in Kentucky and Alabama and Tennessee. Kentucky is a 1 per species. So that actually means, you can catch 1 blue and 1 flathead over 35 inches per license holder and weigh that fish in. So there's still a possibility of bringing 4 big fish in.
Oh yeah. Well, it's going to make it a little more challenging this year too, I think. I mean, but I don't think we've ever had a problem where we've brought big fish.
No, I haven't. This tournament's been going on 5 years. I would say maximum, and I hate to say it because this is where Monsters is originated out of, on the Ohio River here in Owensboro, Kentucky. I may have seen 5 boats in 5 years that's had more than 2 fish over 35 inches.
Right.
And that's one reason that we work so hard on these regs is we would rather see 70 boats with 2 fish over 35 inches than 5 with 5 fish over 30. It's all about everybody sharing. The crowd loves the big fish.
Right.
And that's what they're here for.
As long as you can bring a couple big fish in, I think everybody's going to be happy. But I think it's going to be different this year. I'm really looking forward to the 2014 season.
Yeah, what it's going to do, I've had several discussions about it, and there's a lot of guys that don't know how to bluefish,
Mm-hmm.
They're mainly anchor guys. They mainly flathead fish.
Right.
This is going to help those guys, this is going to let them know, two big flatheads are going to be able to compete with 2 big blues now because you're not going to have 5 big blues,
Right.
So it kind of levels the field out a little bit, I feel, and I think that helps things.
Right. Well, there is some nice flatheads in here. I know one year I come in with a 40-pounder, and I know who was Justin Hedges, I believe, one year come in. He had a heck of a bag of flatheads. Yeah,
actually that year there were 6 fish over 40 pounds flatheads weighed in that year. That was 2 years ago, and it's just like anything else. One year they're here and the next year they ain't. You just never know, but you can't catch them if you ain't trying to catch them.
That's right. For all you flathead guys, this is a heck of a pool for flathead, so come in here and give it a try.
Yeah, there are big flatheads in here. I caught almost a 38-pound flathead at the Bass Pro Big Cat Quest here in Owensboro, drifting back in, I think that was in June. And actually this year I've caught more flathead drifting than I have the 9 years previous to that. So my feeling is there's a pretty good amount of flatheads in these waters right now.
Right.
The biggest one I've actually put in the boat around here is 49 pounds. I've seen a lot of 40-plus pound flatheads caught in this area. I think if you talk to some guys, you were talking about Jason Bridges, world-renowned guide down in Alabama who's hooked plenty of big fish.
Right.
I mean, he told me that he had the biggest fish that he's ever had on his life right here in this pool.
Right. I remember you telling me that.
He said it was unbelievable. So they're here. You're going to have to work, but hey, that's part of it.
Right. What's it cost to get into this thing this year?
It's $200 to get in it. We got a couple of hotels that got special room rates for guys. The Ramada Inn here in Owensboro, the Hampton here in Owensboro. But you're going to get a lot of bang for your $200. We gave away $15,000 worth of door prizes last year at the captain's meeting. So
Right.
Like Steve said, there is a very high competitive competition level here, but there are a lot of guys that come down here and they're using their thinkers is because the best way to learn from the best is to talk to them.
Right.
You want to talk to them? Hang out at the Ramada Inn for about 3 nights before Monsters on the Ohio, because they're all going to be there.
Yeah.
And they're all the nicest guys you ever want to meet and don't care to share with you.
Right.
That's the wonderful thing about it.
Yeah, they're and they're looking for secret ideas too. Now, I don't want to say secret, but there's
something new.
Yeah,
Something new.
Yeah, and you never know who's going to show you that.
That's right, because when you got guys that come from the Potomac River up in Pennsylvania, or you got guys that come from Alabama or the Mississippi, you know, not everyone fishes the same bodies of water, and not everyone fishes the same, and you can always learn something new.
Exactly. If you listen close.
If you listen close.
Yep.
That's absolute truth.
Well, good deal, Aaron. I'm glad you come out with me today.
Hey, Steve, I'm glad you came down, man. I appreciate everything you do, taking time out of your busy day. You and Lisa, you guys have been with me from day one. I will never forget you, and hopefully you'll always be on my team.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, and look forward to fishing your event again this year.
Won't be long.
I hear you. Look at all these fish down here.
It's crazy. They're in here, boys. They are definitely in here.
All right, guys. Monsters on the Ohio, October 11th, 2014, Owensboro, Kentucky. If you can't make it to the event, at least come down and watch the big fish as they get weighed in, because I know there's going to be some big fish.